Hello guys, and welcome to another video. So one time I saw in Vercel's dashboard and in Kevin Powell's video the directionally over navbar. Of course for Kevin, and I was curious if I can do it in JavaScript, just to make it like smooth and then when we go to like when we leave or stop hovering over the links and hover again, it will instantly transition. Now to fix this, so like make this invisible, is we can make we can make use of opacity. Okay, so let me walk you through the code above in code sliding, and when we lift it will instantly hover or highlight the element, and if we slide it will follow the cursor. Now let's break this down into separate steps. So the first step is that when we enter, so on the first enter of the cursor, so like there was no previously hovered link or element. So like here everything is empty, right? There's no highlight whatsoever. But if we hover over one, there will now be a highlighted element or hovered over element. At this point, there's no transition for the highlighted instantly lights up. But when we hover over a new link or element, it will actually slide. So this highlight is actually a separate element elements here or the links. It is its own entity in this case, which follows around. Okay, and as you notice as well, its width is actually getting smaller or larger depending on how long the text is. That means this element that is following our cursor is actually also getting the width of the hovered link or element. Okay, there we go. And if you leave as well, so like there we go, no more element is being hovered over. And then once again, it is as well instant, just like on first page load. So if I refresh this, there we go, just like that. So I hover again, it will be this. Okay, so how can we do this? Well, let me walk you through the code. Over here, we have just born as the container of the UL just to make it somewhat semantic, I guess. And then the main thing here is our container, which is the unordered list element or tag. And I just give it last name, and the key here is this element up here, where is the tag of this. Well, but we give it the last name of high, and the things that will be outing over in our demo. So for our CSS, I just like everything we use a copy height of one page or 100% of the viewer height. Viewer is pretty much the view that I use with student seeing. So it's overall video and its height is like this. It's 100% of it. And now since it is a display of grid, we want also place the items to the center. And these items are in a container over here. And they are centralized. Okay. Now below us we have the unordered list. So this will just take a position of relative. So this is going to be useful later on for the element or the element with the class of highlight. And just declare the style of none just to remove bullet points. Because if I remove this, the bullet points will appear. There we go. And the flex so that we can align these items on the items like this. I will just centralize them as well, just for the sake of it. And down below, we styled the link tag with a tag over here. I just gave it the inline of flags, which pretty much let it remain inline, but have it as a flex. So this is used in like reusable component, and just declared it here, just just to get my memory jogging. And I just centralize text with an center and just select content center. Just added some padding. So this padding here is vertical, top and bottom, and this padding on the right is horizontal, right and left. I just wanted to inherit the color of the overall document, which is the yellow, and I'll take the equation of because the behavior or default styling for the tags are they have a text decoration of underline and a color of blue. So if I show it to you, it is color. Okay. I don't know what I'm saying. There we go. Oh, I got the wrong one. Um, okay. I'll just tap it up again. There we go. And just opacity and font size increase. And you can worse. So we should actually remove this. Excuse me. So when we hover over the tag, it will actually turn the opacity back to 1. So in here below, it's actually somewhat um translucent or transparent. Translucent, I think. Yeah. Somewhat. But if we over, there we go. It's darker. So to make it more visible, okay, let's see. There we go. Now we hover. See the text is let's say harder in color. Okay. Now for the last property that we have, it's just styling the element or the element in the class of filing. So basic, based on what I had in what was in developer.mozilla.org, is that this used to create a new stack context. So this is that this will be irrelevant from the current layer of the overall tree. So like it's separate from other elements, which means that so if we change, for example, its position, we will the DOM will actually calculate everything based on what I think. For example, in here, we are actually taking the position of the element using transform, and we so so that I think Kotlin is used to somewhat increase performance when doing stuff like this definition. It's still my combination of all the files of things are which can be layout, lanes, and such. I mean, if I do this, something will really happen. It will. There we go. This is the same, and yeah, I just included it and got the what it said in the docs. Okay. One thing here is the position of absolute. So you need to declare its position to be absolute to its parent container. That's why we set the unordered list element to have a position of relative. That means the position of the unordered list will be relative to the overall DOM or HTML document. If it's relative, then it will stay in place. So if it's absolute to the parent container, that means this element over here will always stay in place of its parent container that is relative to the HTML document. And for series negative 1, I just declare it to, put it in the background. but then I'm not sure if it's kind of weird. That's because it thinks that we are hovering over the highlight element over here. So like it's a Z layer, so it's on top of the element A tab, I think, or is it L tab? Yeah, I think it's A tab. Yeah, so I just did it to avoid that. Okay, tab 0, so pretty much place this element with position of absolute on the top part of its parent container and left on its left part of its parent container. Now the height, self-explanatory, and other stuff. So transition is pretty much what CSS properties or declaration we want the transition duration, timing function, and such to be applied to. So timing function is pretty much the cubic bizer. So if you're not sure what it is, you can search it up as well as go to cubic bizer something. I don't know the name. So you can play around with it. But this is pretty much say that we want this to go from slow to fast or from fast to slow. So somewhat like that. And here's just the duration of the transition. Increase this, and that's when it should be over here. So 150, say 400. I change this to 400. So I guess it's much slower than before. Okay, that's pretty much it for the CSS. Let's move on to the JavaScript. Now in the JavaScript, what I'm doing here is just grabbing the element with the class name of using the query selector. Again, query selector is pretty much what we use to select elements in CSS. That's why you see we're using a period before the name. So this means that we want to select an element with a class name of whatever comes after the period. In this case, highlight. And just assign it to the variable highlight, which we will be manipulating later on. Now here, query selector, select an element with a tag name of UL. You just need to put in the name of the tab or element and apply that to this container tag or variable rather. And over here, based on what we thought that query selector is what we use in CSS to target elements, we just apply that to the list tags as well. So this query selector means that we want to select all tags which is not the element that has the class name of highlight. Because if you see on our HTML markup, we actually have an li tag or element with the class name of highlight. So here, this selector here, it will disregard the element or li tag with the class name of highlight. Okay. Here we have the hover index. Now this will be important to keep track of whether a user has actually hovered over an element or not. And if it is, then we'll apply the duration. And if not, so like when we leave, it will actually apply no duration, so 0 ms. That is what we see down here. Okay. All right. We can actually remove this. Right. Yeah. And just change this to even the market. So we'll just and I forgot to invite to this to hover element is equals to the of the event. Then hover element. Oh, right. This is there you go. Down here is what element. There we go. Okay. Hid to the target index that we had below here before, because that was just mean that refactoring code before taking the video or recording the video. Anyway, so this is useful to track whether an element has been hovered before or not, or an element has been hovered before or not. And that is where this comes on. This if condition right here. And we declare the duration because we want to change it based, or we want to assign a value to it, which is the duration, based on whether a hovered element exists or not. So if a hovered element has been hovered on or not. In this case, it if the hovered element exists, that means we're hovering over an element right here. Then we set the duration when we hover over another element here to 400 ms, as you can see. Else, we set it to 0, so right here. It takes 0 ms to reach this point with transform. But if we hover again, it will be 400 ms to transform or reach the point of the link that we are hovering over. And of course, we have this capacity over here to make it visible or appear on the screen. Okay? So we're just getting the client width of the target element. So this is used to get the overall width of an element, which includes the padding but excludes the margin, borders, and such. So the padding is the green. Here, this is also calculated with alongside the width. And this is the reason why our highlighting element actually matches the width of the hover plate or element. And then offset left is, if I'm not mistaken, used to get the distance of the left edge of an element. So for example here, it's left side to the left side of its parent container. So in this case, the parent container is the UL tag, and the left side of the parent tag UL is over here at the very end. So I'm just going to give the it's not disappearing. So it's not disappearing because our rule here is that when we leave the back to 0 right here. As you can see, we attached the event listener of pointer lift. So pointer is our mouse or any kind of pointer, like our fingers, I think. Yeah. And when we lift, we just activate this function, which will set the hover element to null. That's why, as you can see, it's null. So the duration of the transition is. So I need to find a way to remove the padding left. But let's move on. So now this is the key as well, because this is what the highlight will be based on. So if we look on the console or the elements inside of the inspect, you can see that the translate X exchange. So here we will translate the element with the class of highlight to the right by 14 pixels. And if you go to services, we will translate the element with the class of highlight by 276 pixels, because that is the distance of the left side of this element services or tag with the text of services from the left side of the UL container over here. course, at the end, you just set you can just set it to a number or something. I think finding the exact number would be much better. So let's try it. Since we're not using it for any operation anyway. So let's go. And here we go. Nice. So we'll actually try removing padding off. So what's yeah, since there's no problem to it's the same. We didn't do any padding as well, so what might be the problem? Is it because everything here has a margin padding, so we should do that. So although just because you have much to do and the padding I was saying that's all the problem. You know, it's interesting still that even though we set this set to none, we still have and that's pretty much the code. All in all, and the key factors here are the handle it, which we will set the program to null because that is our basis whether we want to give it transition or transform or animation a transition duration. And if it's zero, then it will be no matter what. There we go. Anyway, that is all. And I will be leaving the link to the pen below in this description. And that's all. I hope you learned something about using outside variables to manipulate and using it as a basis whether something exists or not, or something or an event was already in place or not. Okay. And of course, the grant didn't accept left. Oh, if you noticed here, we're actually saying, however, this is not necessary for the also. Since I haven't covered this properly before pressing so I use this because when I was saying this code, I was actually using document get elements by name. So once it returns is an code HTML collection, however, it's not an array at the same time. This doesn't index and length to the properties of an array, but it doesn't have an iterator, or you can say that it doesn't have the methods that an array in JavaScript would have. And so to convert an array like array, let's say one of them is HTML collection, we can say that we want to convert or to make an array, so have the array class constructor. I think so, constructor, not class. Anyway, so have an array constructor and create an array from whatever array we pass in here. So from the array of whatever is returned by the document that get elements by timing method. But in query setter, that's not needed anymore. Okay. Just a heads up for that. Anyway, that is all. And thank you for watching. Good luck on your development journey and happy learning.